0. FOV is 90? No, it's gonna, you guys look like shit. What? We good? Okay, let's get it. What's the game about?
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did
what if I did that right there?
Every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Nah, I'm good. Guys, clearly, the boss will come back. And secondly, why would I want to be productive? They're really paying me to do nothing. So why do I care? What do I care? Cupping soda? Nah, this
Are you
in the other game you can do
going to
something.
Ludwig's poker event?
Yeah, probably. I know what time is that though.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed. Then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Oh, the game ended? Nah, that means that the game is over. We finished the game pretty much.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, classic. Wait, I'm not even here. Oh, is this a mirror? It's not. Oh, it's not a mirror. I thought it was a mirror and I would be able to see myself, but it's not a mirror. It's a glass.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow these instructions.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
How to solve this people coworker? Let it bulb inside you. Take it out passive aggressively on the order coworkers. Resent coworkers for not supporting you more. True.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Okay. It's fair enough so far.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I have to go pee though. I have to pee. Money in the morning, money in the evening, money for breakfast, money crispy. This guy has the bathroom locked. I can't even go pee. What if I bait it? Forget it. Computer. The beige pages. Okay. Wait, that's the devil's over there. We could probably come back later, right? This is tough. Up or down? Up. Wait, it's blue. What? Guys, I'm being tricked. I broke it! Okay, now we're going down instead, fuck it, why not? Where's the speaker? There's no speaker, it's in my head. How long? Where are we going, dude? Guys, the music is changing though. It's intended. It's not even on a loop. I'm done. Sorry, I'm done. I can't do it. Sorry, I can't do it. Fucking dumb elevator, man. I can't do it!
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Is he metagaming?
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845. "2845.
Not pretending.
Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself, and Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Fair enough. If you do it long enough, you win. That is not what I clicked. That is not what I clicked.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
No! Guys, dude.
Whoops. Nope. Never mind. Stanley actually got back into the elevator and went back up. Silly me. Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question. I just can't wait to find out.
Guys, he says it's a good question.
Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated. It's that keen eye for storytelling that you have, an incisive rapid fire of critical plot points, one after the other, weaving a rich tapestry of uncompromising narrative. Wow! I'm bolted to the edge of my seat.
Whatever. Thought there'd be something in there.
Incredible. Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down again. Ladies and gentlemen, how does he keep coming up with all of this? Surely this time Stanley will walk forward into the spooky corridor, won't he?
No shot!
Did you think we were going to go forward down the spooky corridor? No. It's time once again to go back up in the elevator. I can't even begin to grapple with what might be up there. Is it the boss's office again? Or what if it's the boss's office this time? The suspense is killing me.
Okay. I mean, he wants to know, as he wants to know. I mean, let's see it.
God. It's the boss's office. This absolutely changes everything for me. Give me a time out here for a minute while I process this. Okay, I'm ready. I'm prepared to embrace this stunning revelation and to move forward with... No! No, wait! No! I need more time to process.
Is he really punishing me for doing this?
All right. I have fully come to terms with it. I have made space in my worldview for this astonishing new reality. As before, I turn to your expert eye for gripping narrative, Master Stanley.
See?
Of course.
Guys,
Going back
you just
down
didn't understand the narrative at the time.
How did I not anticipate it?
I'm ahead of the times.
Sure, now it's obvious, but you have to understand that 30 seconds ago, this kind of thing had never been attempted before.
Really?
I had no frame of reference to even anticipate it. That's just how revelatory Stanley's decision-making is. A breath of fresh air in a landscape of storytelling that has grown stale and repetitive. You know what? I've just thought of something. Hold on, let's stop for a moment. Don't you realize? It's the anticipation, Stanley. You and I, we have no way of knowing what will be at the top of this elevator. But the suspense, the agony of waiting and anticipating and having to guess, that's the real thrill. Oh, I simply don't want to let that feeling go. It's so precious, so fleeting.
True.
Why don't we take this elevator ride nice?
Okay, dude.
There we go. Isn't this so much more exciting? You know, Stanley, it seems like nowadays the only thing that audiences want is to be shocked as loudly and frequently as possible. They want big, explosive moments flung right in their faces from the very moment that things get
Joke's on him, I have to
started.
order food, so, I mean...
Where's the tension? Where's the trust in the audience to build a slow and nuanced appreciation for the story, the characters? Why aren't we given time to imagine the surprises, to have to think and to anticipate, and then to marvel at the eventual reveal? This is storytelling, Stanley. What you and I are doing right now. This is the most exciting narrative to be developed in years, and it's really all because of you. You're the one who took this bold step of revisiting the exact same locations over and over. Truly, I mean it. This is unique and different. It's not like anything else out there. You see, I want stories that surprise me, Stanley. I want to have to think. I want to be engaged and not pandered to. We're being fed such unimaginative drivel all the time, and we all know it, which is why we're so starved for content that makes us feel sharp and vital and alive. That's why people like you so much, Stanley. Because you're not afraid to spit in the face of tradition. You're a role model, you know? People look up to you. Which is why... Oh, I didn't know when to spring this on you, but, well, I've gathered a little press conference for you, so that you can talk about your work and your storytelling and your life. Yes, I know you're not much for the public eye, but I thought it would especially mean a lot to the people who have been following you from the beginning. They really look up to you, Stanley.
Jesus.
I don't know if you realize the impact you have on them. This is the kind of gesture that might leave a tremendous impact on them for the better. Oh good, we're here.
Shit. Huh?
Okay, the room where we're holding the press conference should be just around the corner here somewhere.
World's healthiest human being, all tricks revealed. How we did the pyramids. Live, the guy went to Mars. All eyes on Stanley live on stage. Storyteller. Shit. We've never seen this before. World peace, baby.
Ah, yes. Here it is, just through this door.
You know what? Not really, man. I don't think I want to see what happens when you do I just want to go back down. Huh? They locked it! You motherfucker, dude. Choices matter. Surely, dude. This is stage.
Right. Are you ready? I've told them you're going to speak a little bit about the nature of surprise in storytelling and what it means to craft a truly unpredictable narrative. Oh, don't worry. You'll do great. Just be yourself and speak from the heart. I'm really proud of you, Stanley. Okay, it looks like they're ready for you. Go get them.
Okay. 427. Story, Stanley, me dad age 6, thanks for showing. Break a leg champ. Okay. What's this little ball here though? No, this is nothing to me, guys. This is like a daily stream for me. I'm hello? What's up, man? Jesus Christ! Oh. So I'm famous though, right?
Were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Nah, let's not do that. Guys, I'm sure chat is the same thing as the main game, right? It's gonna be the same thing. It's not gonna be different. We'll do it after.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
No, I go left. I'm gonna listen.
Not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Nah, no bathroom break. I'm good this time.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music. Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Mauled, I'm going too fast. Mauled, I'm going too slow. This guy just wants me if I can do it exactly how he wants me to do it, man. Okay, whatever, dude. Okay, then I'll do it exactly the way he wants me to do it. Then this is a sheep playthrough. We're just gonna play the game. Just play the game. NPC number 1.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Don't care. I'm going through it.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Aha! You've made it to the bottom of the mind control facility. Welcome! You see, back when the Stanley Parable first launched in 2013, getting to the bottom of the mind control facility was a bug that we simply didn't catch during development. And you all sent us lots of photos of it on Twitter and acted very superior about it. And you're all very, very clever. Good for you. Anyway, when it came time to update the game, we knew that we had to do something about this little goof of ours, so here you go. New content. You can call it the bottom of the mind control room ending, if that enhances your perception of the value of these updates. Isn't that what you crave? New content? Always more content, more, more.
Yeah?
And I'm here to give it to you.
Fuck yeah!
I'm here to make it seem like we really covered every nook and cranny of the game, with secrets and Easter eggs. How about this? We wrote a new piece of music just for this section. You won't hear it anywhere else in the game. It's a secret that's just for you. That's how special you are.
See, you can only get that on
call
this stream,
track,
boys.
Good job, you've made it to the bottom of the mind control facility. Well done.
Good job, you did it. Good job. 3, 2, 1. Good
Guys,
job.
there's gotta be a
Made it to the bottom of the mind control facility.
No, I think there's something secret in here.
Catwalk. You should have been careful. You should have been careful. It used to be a bug, but now it's an ending. Now it's an ending. I believe in you. I believe in your ability to cross this barrier.
There's something here.
Chase your dreams. But railings don't mean anything. Good job, you did it. 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 Good job, you did it.
That's it.
All of this code.
I didn't even know. I'm not gonna. I didn't even know.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, well, that was alright.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad,
Oh,
Stanley
shit.
pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway.
Quelle surprise.
Pure surprise.
Oh, it's not surprise, it's surprise. But whatever, dude. Yeah, who's ADHD now? Who's ADHD now? Not even the narrator is ADHD now. Even him is ADHD. Yeah, he's molding, not me. Ooh, wait a minute. What if I stand here? No? No! I promise I didn't do it on purpose.
Nope. Never mind. Stanley.
You guys, I did it on
actually
purpose, I
got
promise.
back
So
into
just
the
go back down
elevator
there.
and went back
Dude,
up.
listen.
Silly me. Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office?
I wanted the president to get
that's
back
a
out,
great
sir.
question.
Maybe you try to bait
I
it.
just can't wait to find out.
It's fine, it doesn't do anything. Because I'm not gonna force the same ending. Wait a minute.
Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated.
Guys, you can't go back down
that
then.
keen eye for storytelling that you have. An incisive rapid fire of critical plot points, one after the other, weaving a rich tapestry of uncompromising narrative. Wow. I'm bolted to the edge of my seat. Incredible.
I'm
Now
not
he's
gonna
getting
restart.
back into the elevator and going down again. Ladies and gentlemen, how does he keep coming up with all of this?
Guys, it doesn't affect the continuation if we just go through, I think.
Surely this time Stanley will walk forward into the spooky corridor. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Sounds fun.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Guess we'll see.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Yep. So,
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
the allegory of the cavern.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
I'm good. Wait a minute. Is any of this new? No? On or off? Chat?
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know
4.
where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you
Where's number
free.
4 at?
Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons
4.
endlessly
I
and
got
then
it.
dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp.
It says 4.
To say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing.
Much better
Watching
have
you try to make sense of everything
seconds.
and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the
Press
next
any
go
keys and
around
power
will
surge.
be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds
No!
left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not?
Oh, thank
These
you.
are precious additional seconds.
147.
Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley?
1.
Is it that you have no idea?
Don't
where you're
spawn
going
fucking
or
spoilers,
what
I don't know how
you're
to do
supposed
it.
to be doing right
So,
now?
1?
Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it
Maybe,
on?
maybe,
Look at you, running from
if one is
button to
blue,
button,
I go to blue then.
Screen to screen, clicking on every little thing
Fuck.
in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones, or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything,
5.
anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley?
12 seconds.
That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is?
Backup power. 5.
Stanley,
No!
you're in for quite a disappointment.
Well,
But here's a spoiler for you.
I have another minute.
That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking
5,
away
then
to your
power.
death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble.
Okay, 5 and
This is
then
not a challenge. It's a tragedy.
Yellow.
You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first. So
3.
you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No end.
3 and
Just
then
you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life? Or will you let it go peacefully?
Yellow.
Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me. All a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say
purple,
"Happy
blue.
ever."
Ah! My man, why is it so fucking loud? So flashy, so weird. Why though? Did I fuck it up somehow? There's gotta be a way to win that.
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself. That's all I
there's,
need.
there's a way to
If I
win
can
that.
make it through
I'm
this
going back.
door,
Yeah.
I can make it through them all.
I'm going back.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I'm going back. I'm doing it again.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss. Coming to
I
a
did not miss
staircase,
anything.
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Here's the door, just go.
Thanks, man. What?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Missed nuke on the door, and I wouldn't be able to know that unless you told me like a backseat gamer, right? And if I
The
don't
lights
know what to do in
rose
that
on an
room
enormous
that I
room
didn't
packed
play
with
or do,
television screens.
then I wouldn't be able to tell,
What
right?
horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Why isn't there's no way to stop it? Just because the other game didn't have it doesn't mean this expansion doesn't have it.
Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terror.
That is exactly what somebody that knows I can would say.
Did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it,
3.
Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind.
Dark blue.
What a shame we have so little time
Why?
left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off.
2.
But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me.
Can't go there.
Where we're going. What all this means.
Purple.
I barely know where to start. What's that?
Charge.
You'd like to know where your co-workers are?
Why not?
A moment of solace before you're obliterated. All right, I'm in a good mood. You're
5
gonna die
upstairs.
anyway. I'll tell you
5,
exactly
no, 5
what
is
happened to
across.
me. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone.
Wait, there's only one
Other
colored
times,
board here.
I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though. This version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go.
Then I have to do it again?
But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not?
4 yellow.
These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't...
See, it didn't glitch up. So to do it again?
Dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones.
Good.
Or maybe this big red
So again?
button. Or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save
Another one?
Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? But you really believe there's an answer? How many times will you replay this bit, looking desperately for a solution?
Shut up, bitch.
10? 100? 1,000? I look forward to finding out and to watching
Another
the
yellow.
bomb
Do another
off
yellow
each
this time.
time you fail. Just you and me and the retching explosion of fire and metal over and over and over for all of eternity. And Stanley died again.
Maybe blue first.
Stanley died again. And Stanley died again.
No, fuck off.
Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here. Just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life? Or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me. All a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment
Sorry, let me click it. Let me click it. Let me click it. No, you bitch ass. I had it. Different noises. There's different noises though. You can definitely break the code there.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall. Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Shut up, bitch.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content? When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Here's the door, just go.
Yeah, well, I'll click off this time, see what happens. Guys, the buttons give a feedback. There's a click, and there's there's click, there's
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
It's funny because when I follow the narrator, you guys all say sheep. But when the game
lights
says,
rose on
oh
an
wow, look,
enormous room
a new
packed with
door.
television
Me not
screens.
going into it, you guys say
What
Papega.
horrible secret did this place
That's
hold?
literally
Stanley thought to
absolute
himself.
sheep behavior.
Did he
Yeah,
have
you try to
the
call me out
strength
for it, so I don't know
to
what the fuck you're
find
talking
out?
about. A door made for you to go in, that's really scripted. That's
Now
not a
the
sheep.
monitors
But
jumped
following the
to life.
narrator
Their
to go
true
further, it
nature
is sheep.
revealed.
That's
Each
actually
bore
0
the
IQ.
number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Ah.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
I think you could go on the railing probably and jump over there.
He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation.
Nah, we'll turn it off, whatever.
Labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored
You
and
can't fix the
commanded from
machines,
this
whatever.
very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery...
Wait, I got McDonald's downstairs, so let me pick it up.
blackness, and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine. Unshackled himself from someone else's command.
See, that's what I do, boys.
Freedom
I
was
win.
mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved.
See? Told
Where
you.
had his co-workers gone?
Can you
How
fix the
had he been
machine?
freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing.
That?
Stanley stepped through the open door.
That felt like a quote from the great
Stanley felt
great
the
dictator.
cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
What now? We touch grass and then what?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Wait.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
Come on, man. If you enter the door without pushing it, you can go through here, I'm pretty sure. Without pushing it. Oh, guys. Totally not cheap gameplay, guys. The machine is playing for me.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
No. No. You can turn here. Come on, man. Turn, bitch. Whatever. New content, it's all locked off.
So far, it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure. Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it. I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
Fucking cash grabber.
All right. All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
You can jump now. Oh my god. Oh my god, I wasted my jumps, dude! Dude!
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right? Goodness. Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could counter 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh wait, there's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is. That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable.
Thank you.
It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
I'm good. I mean, this is... Wait. Are you guessing this or am I crazy? It's moving!
Psst! Stanley! Come over here! In the vent! I want to show you something! Oh, you don't want to see the cool surprise I made for you? Well, fine. You're a dork anyway, so who cares? When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors,
Wait, what happens then?
he entered the door on his left.
Huh?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Guys, what the fuck?
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would...
Guys, if I reset, do I go back to the event or not?
And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange.
Why don't we just play the game? It's the same thing. This is the old game. I didn't know we would go back to the old game, but I didn't go into the fucking vent of all things. The vent really did.
I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job.
Well, where's the coffee?
I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes.
Wait, where's the car?
And he invited himself to wake up.
Well, we haven't seen the car in a long time now, though.
The weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
See, there's a car.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life.
Wow.
She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
She killed him. Bitch.
Stanley!
Yeah, the fucking
Come
phantom.
over here! In the vent! I want to show you something!
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past, and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take
Dark
a
Souls!
look. I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC.
Guys, this engine is kind of fun though. Oh, let me go up there. This engine, the way this looks, I could play a game like this for sure. It feels good. Man.
You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it
source?
was sullied with a cheap
Yeah, but it looks good.
re-release? Remember back in October of 2013, when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
Je suis dans la mémorisation, c'est sur la pluie des loups, et je n'attends.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing.
It's
It's
dog
no
shit.
games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
That's it.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone. To spend the rest of time
That's because it
collecting
was
dust
easy.
in the hallowed hall of beloved
And journalists are
video
fucking
game
dog shit at video
memories.
games. Hey! I have no jumps left.
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here? Oh no. Oh God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here.
Dog
Surely
shit.
these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
I mean, she's not wrong, per se. I think they should just redo the whole thing, but have her as like a dev
Okay, let's
consultant
see what this one
type
says.
shit.
While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this
It's
preachiness
Buglydia.
gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Oh dear. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered. What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have. And here it is. Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue. Well, there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption... Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes. Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're... Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time, I stopped keeping track after a year. Have you ever sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year? Let me just...
A fire alarm, or is that an alarm for the morning? I guess we'll never know.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed.
I'm gonna skip this rant. It's Stunlock. Leave Stunlock by game reviews. I do not care. I buy the games to play them, not to fucking hear about the dev's opinion about them.
The end is never the end, 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 is...
Skip. Oh wow. Skip. Skip. Oh, hold up. Maybe we could get a vine. It's gonna be The Last of Us 2 actual game. No! No, my button! I've been so used to skipping, I kind of forgot how it is not to skip, man. Now this is boring. How do I skip this part? They finally create something new and I don't want it. Uh-oh. What? Do I pick up or not?
Good morning. Thank you for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation. We are confirming your shipment of 1,327 cardboard boxes to your place of work. Can you verify that this is correct?
Yeah.
Excellent. Your order will arrive shortly. Thank you again for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation.
Correct. Did I read that right? Correct. Now what? Oh, new content.
Oh, good. You notice my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
It's new. Oh, fuck yeah. Turn, you fuckhead.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
Okay, well, all it needs is one hero, one game mode.
Yes, you
Couple
see,
skins.
it's far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions. Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for. Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation
more envelope,
and long-term
client-centric.
franchising potential.
Okay, fair enough. New content part 2. No glitches, I see. Left brain, right brain.
Now,
Chat.
to be clear,
Are you left-handed or
I haven't
right-handed?
quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
Oh, really? Thank you. Elementary information, of course. Is it? Most people say right-handed. Oh, wow. This looks like
Here
E3.
we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Features. This is just merch, man. This end is never the end. No, this end is never no end again. The button that says the game of the player that is playing the game. Not possible. Guys, they're literally copying FIFA. I'm thinking it's gonna be a lawsuit for sure. Just a game with a new number on it, but just literally nothing new. Just kind of a ripoff.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Let me see. Huh?
Jim.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind,
It's like RP?
forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine yourself live...
Jim.
Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory. If you don't properly roleplay as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this button. Otherwise, it's just a stupid button that says somebody else's name. Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first. Now, allow yourself to become Jim. Imagine yourself driving to work as Jim, playing free... All right, fine, whatever. It's just a meaningless button that says Jim. Are you happy now? Get out of here. I'm done with this button. Why don't you go humiliate me in front of a different feature that I worked very hard on?
Jim.
See, if you'd only played along, that would have been your name the button says, but no. Instead, I can't even think about it. I'm taking the Jim button away.
Jim.
It's fucking lame as shit. Well, that's absolutely fucking garbanzo. Literally, this is the most content we've had the entire game. This is literally the most we've had. Is just Jim, and he did take it away. Funny game. Oh, fuck! It doesn't actually say it. I'm doing that so Chad's eyes become kind of dizzy and annoying and blurry, and he become dazed by the flashbang. The viewer now feels a sudden urge to close out. But I want to see what happens next with the plant right here. Oh, what is the word this box?
Maybe I'll only let people named Jim play the Stanley Parable too. They would appreciate what I've created here. An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, yes, it will go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
No, now. Okay. He's turning. Settings world champion. Set it. I don't get it. I thought they would hide something in the settings.
You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's a... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle. Oh, well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece, then.
That's boring. New plus easy achievement. Get yours right now. Pull the lever, receive achievement.
Now, here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yeah, okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
Such a bad game. Well, what about this right here, though? Literally no new content.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
I don't know, upstairs, left side. I guess. Collectibles? This is the exit. Collect them all.
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Okay. So I only have one though, right? 5 more?
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Guys, there's more, man. Where's the hole? I didn't see the hole. Where? The giant sign. Oh, a hole! The infinite hole. It's like Chet's mum. No screenshots.
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with? You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Happy 12th birthday, step-niece, it is.
That's not what I
Or
asked.
actually, maybe I should have gone with... No. No, I've made my decision. We're moving on.
Wait, it looped around. What? Don't understand.
Come now. You've already made your choice. It's true that you chose badly, but we all have to move on from our mistakes.
What? What ramp on the sake?
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I am happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting.
Okay.
You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution.
Okay.
Come on, give it a try. Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person.
Cool.
The benefits of the bucket seem to go on and on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
It's heavy though. I'm done with the bucket. Can we just leave it? Can we put it somewhere?
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
Okay. What have we not seen? Forward plus... Did we go to the hole already? We didn't go to the hole yet, I don't think, yeah. Time depth. Distant space-time, distant past, distant future, time like infinity, hole like infinity, distant space-time, space like infinity. Okay. Science. Hole. This is bedstone, isn't it? And that's brainstone.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
Bop.
You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward. Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
Well, if you think about it, what if you pierce a hole in the earth?
Okay,
and you go to the middle?
I don't know quite
what
how
happens?
to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole.
You would
Is it a
you'd
very,
be
very
floating
deep
it.
hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay,
I
well,
knew it.
Good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem. Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready.
Guys, look. Hand off the keyboard. Look at this. Right click, left click. See that shit?
Great. Now, I'm very oh, for heaven... You see, I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much. Not normal. A normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there. Goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of... Oh. Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time? I couldn't help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did before. I mean, admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above. Had enough? I'm positively... Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing where... Wow. Okay.
It's gonna come back.
Yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite.
It's because the universe is
I
expanding
suspect that I'm starting to hit the point
backwards.
where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability and marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter.
Sure.
Well, there it is. How is this still appealing to you?
Oh, I can't
I know
jump.
You're obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see this scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on.
What if it makes a cylinder going upwards?
Is the, teleport button not working? You sure? Well, I mean, I really don't have an explanation. It was working just a moment. Still nothing? Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley. You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone. You get to be with the hole, I get to do literally anything else. Take care, Stanley. I hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity together.
Hello? Every pause button. Two. Just the two of us, we can make it if we try. Just the two of us, just the two of us, just the two of us. Building castles in the sky, just the two of us, you and I. Is that a real song or not? Holy.
It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley, because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment. So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the hole? From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back.
Walk edge.
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Well, what if I want to try the hole again? Aw, man. It's Lee Garbanzo. I can't try it again. Let me see. What's the game about? It's the game. It's one of those games where I don't really need to tell you like what's the game about. You just kind of watch and you know that's what the game is about, literally. I'm going to exit. Literally, it's not about anything. It's a game. If I tell you what it's about, I'm giving you my perspective on the game. That's all.
All right. Have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
Yep. I'm on to the next game.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
More jumps!
Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2.
The hole, the jump.
Who am I kidding, Stanley?
The
This
button.
isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy
The collectible
creating
one.
gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it.
Same game.
I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2." Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
This is the story of a man.
Can't jump though.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley picked up the bucket.
No new content this time.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
We can fill the bucket full of tools.
Can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy. It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over. Oh, no. We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends? That your relationship is purely superficial and convenient? That your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well, I never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together. Go through each of them point by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved over the years. Let him have it. Okay, I've got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all. Here we go. There. Now it's settled.
Boom.
No more debate, no more discussion. Take a hike, broom closet, with all your meandering philosophical diatribes about the nature of cleaning supplies and their relationship to broom closets in the natural order of things.
Customizable bucket.
All right, I've got a second sticker back here, and I'm going to slap it on as well because I think it's appropriate.
Boom!
See? I feel that it works because the sticker is also a bucket. That way, if you're ever
what about a
unsure
stick
whether
on the
thing
sticker
you're
though
holding is
that
a
says
bucket or not,
property of Stanley?
You can look down at this sticker and say to yourself, "Ah, it's a bucket." There really is a wide variety of applications for this sticker.
So now we need a smaller white sticker and put it on it.
You know what? I could take the name-calling and the dismissal of your kinship with the bucket, but now the broom closet is just giving us the silent treatment. And to be honest, I'm sick of the pettiness on display. You can stay here all you like, but I've had it with this impetulant room of cleaning supplies. Easily the most childish such room I've ever been in. I'll see you outside, and we can get on with the story about you and your bucket.
I want is a new sticker. Garbage content.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Let's go downstairs this time, see what happens.
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these. Only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done.
False.
You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
Nah, we get an achievement for this for sure. Guys, what if we go there though? There's probably one in here as well.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Okay. One is in the elevator. You fucker.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him all. The bucket did not react, except perhaps a tiny glow of warmth. Subtle, yes, but an unmistakable spark from somewhere deep within.
Call you know? Is he gonna hack it? Does he have a dongle or a laptop for this or not? What's the code?
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2-8. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation. Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me. The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
I have the bucket.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
What if the bucket can make us do the right ending?
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of it, of course, Stanley and the bucket thought better of it and realized they simply had too much to live for.
And the bucket is the answer to finish the game.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves. The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears
RP?
as
No.
Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Because I can't jump down, chat, because I need water in my bucket. Because if you jump and you put water
Was the
before
bucket
landing,
under the
you
mind
don't take any fall
control
damage.
facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept
No!
it. His own life in someone else's control. Never!
Never.
He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its
I don't give a
terrible
shit.
power.
I'll figure out the
But
code.
at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in horror.
Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen. Birds. Silly, silly birds.
There's seagulls.
The control buttons became active again.
I want him to fly a little bit. Fly. Huh?
Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him.
Oh, those are
This
cute.
wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world. The mind controls were
Ugly.
only a facade to disguise its true intent.
These are mean. I don't like them.
Had the bucket known
Mean.
this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live
Dinosaur.
streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the
Haircut.
possible paths his life could
Haircut.
have taken, this
Dumb.
one was surely the best.
Fake.
And Stanley was happy.
Cute. Ugly. Decent. Annoying. Very cute.
Stanley had never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much. Stanley
fucking
lifted the bucket
bucket,
into his
bitch.
arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
I didn't miss. I watched Forsen's playthrough. Yeah, I was like all they did. Everybody knows this already. What? $416. Red room.
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet.
There's more
simply because
stickers.
I have no remaining stickers. If I did, you can guarantee we'd be in here for hours. But alas, no stickers.
Oh.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Nah.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then, something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me! The bucket!
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Come to me, Stanley! Find me!
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from.
In his head.
The real bucket.
was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything.
I didn't fart.
Heck yes, she thought to herself.
Should have farted because you have no bucket.
Ass. And she backed
Bucketless?
all the way to work.
No buckets?
All of his co-workers
Wait a
were
minute.
gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
I'm gonna do on. I'm gonna do off.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Uh-huh. It's sheer luck, guys. I just had a hunch about it. It is what it is.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Lower chat, I'll save us all. I'll click off.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
I'm not gonna jump off, I want water.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
I got this. Here comes.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place?
I'm more upset that there's no
These
sticker on my
questions
bucket
raced
sticker.
furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never!
He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world.
Kind of triggering a little
At
bit.
this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again...
Easy.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over? Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and... What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No. Stanley can't leave this place, not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I?
Yeah.
Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home.
Right side
Stanley
then?
clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room.
Whatever.
But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
Oh, okay.
Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
There's an elevator right there, though.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
You're getting close now, Stanley. You've nearly gotten all of the Figler
I'm
and
fucking
Marines.
crazy,
Very
boys.
soon, you'll collect the last one, and then the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it.
That's it.
We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them. And now we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Figler and Marines. None of us can.
Wait a minute. Could I land somewhere cool, maybe?
But Stanley feared
What?
that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket. his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching. How long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered to himself. Minutes? Days? Centuries? Did something crucial happen while my Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge
There's
was
gotta be
simply
more
the
in there.
place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind.
There's more in there.
The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Fuck no.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift. Good,
Said the bucket.
now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked. No, stop. Look there on the wall, you see? There's a sign right there. It says, "No buckets past this point." Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless... What if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a moment. Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin.
Okay, I got this.
Item 1. Is this a bucket? Correct. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket. Item 2. Is this a bucket? Correct. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Any doubters?
Item 3. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. This is a bucket. Item 4. Is this a bucket? What? Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor. It's an enormous machine that tills the earth. I thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move on to the next one.
Well, it can contain things in the thing.
Is this a bucket? Correct.
Easy.
This is a bucket.
See? Told you. Easy.
Item 6. Is this a bucket?
It didn't move.
Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
Fuck off.
Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. Should be around here somewhere. Okay, you and I both know there isn't anything here. And I don't appreciate the implication that nothing is a bucket when we both clearly know that a bucket is something.
Well, it's right
and
there.
therefore nothing could possibly be something.
It's right there, I see
Unless,
it.
in your twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing? Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe that nothing is a bucket?
Yes.
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket? Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart.
Good.
I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely. Okay, here we go.
Wait, why?
What happened? Is everything gone?
It's all a
Why did
bucket.
everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket? Every single thing in the game was a bucket? Oh my God, I had no idea. How could... except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue.
Yeah, we're a
But
bucket.
it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go.
Wait, Stanley thought to himself. Am I sure that the orders stopped coming in? How is that?
The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket.
We're good, we have all of them, boys.
Another thrilling adventure together. Stanley clutched the bucket
I'm gonna
tightly
do
to his chest
right side
and
again.
entered the door on his left.
And follow the elevator.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to
Bitch-ass.
be correct? Was this better? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go
No.
back to the meeting room.
No.
Said the bucket.
Don't go to the meeting room.
Don't
go
go to the
somewhere
meeting
else.
room.
The cargo lift, yes. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him,
Oh,
of course,
oh.
because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
So I left clicked again.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Now pick up the phone.
Jesus!
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
Hello? Bucket. Where's the bucket?
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
Oh. Okay.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me. Well, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket.
But I want it.
Think, it can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
What? It doesn't have to be liquid. It could be anything.
You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the...
Hey, that's another bucket right there.
Once upon a time, it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is this awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal. It's sad. I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
You believe I'm real, don't you, Stanley? Press Y to go back home.
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another. Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket?
Or there's something else.
Oh no. I'm having feelings for the bucket. No. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes. The bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation. Stanley, give me the bucket. Give it to me. Give me the bucket, Stanley. I need it. Give it to me now. Give it or I'll...
Back to work, okay.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Where are we going today? The bucket asked. Stanley just smiled. Anywhere they went.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this... No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No.
No.
Said the bucket.
No.
Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Let's see it.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this
Yeah,
dark
we're gonna
room
plug
over
in now.
here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Now pick up the phone.
Whoa, hold on. Why did you unplug
It's
the phone?
EU. EU
Were you trying
plugs.
to resist the bucket's orders? Stanley, I was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things. Buckets can't talk. It was a joke. Don't you get the joke? It's funny, Stanley. A talking bucket. Can't you see?
Like Pickle Rick?
Goodness. I must have really bungled up the delivery if you actually took me seriously. Where did I mess up the joke? Should I have paused for longer or spoken quicker? Comedic timing is so difficult. I wish I were better at it. But there isn't exactly an instructional video on comedy that one can watch to fully... Oh, wait, yes, there is. It's sitting right here. Let's take a look.
What is comedic timing? What is comedic timing? How does it work? How long should it last?
How can it be used to effectively silence your political enemies?
Wait, what?
And more importantly, can it be taught in its entirety within 90 seconds? Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is yes. Let's dive deeper. If you've ever told a joke or made someone laugh, in all likelihood, you did it while standing 50 to 80 centimeters from them in a room of no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit, with one of your arms raised straight upward at a 15-degree angle from your body. These are the optimal conditions for good comedic timing. To begin the joke, start by stating and spelling your name.
Felix,
Next, provide a brief
F-E-L-X.
synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh, and then
make a mom joke.
spell out your name
with
a second time.
punchline.
With these steps
Laugh at
complete,
the end.
it's time to begin the humor.
F-E-L-I-X.
Speak the entire joke in no more than 18 seconds and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary. When the joke has concluded, it is customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice, "I'm Dunny with the funny." Let's practice screaming, "I'm Dunny with the funny."
I'm
now.
Dunny with the funny.
Good. This saying is a perfect example of expectations management, which is the cornerstone of good comedy. Finally, it's time to hand out surveys. Collecting hard data from your audience on how rapt they were throughout the joke
Mars,
is
you
the
get a
only way to
poll?
grow or learn as a comedian.
Mars, you
An
get a poll?
effective survey should be no less than 10 pages long
Was
and
it
should
funny?
include the same question
One
reprinted
yes,
several
2 no.
times, just to ensure the survey taker is actually paying attention and not simply filling in answers at random. And that's all there is. With these strategies at your disposal, you'll have audiences doubled over in laughter and even tripled over in laughter in no time at all. Just
What?
remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little
Don't worry,
scamp.
I got this. Poll. There you go.
After all, we're each of us needed on the front
that,
lines
Joe? Was
of
it
the
funny or
war
not?
to fight the 12-legged invaders who threaten our very existence and to very likely die in a hailstorm of bullets and mandibles. All of us must be prepared to give our lives to this noble cause, just as our children must do after us, and their children after them. Godspeed, and may Earth reign supreme.
Hey, goodness, this video is a little outdated, isn't it? Well, no matter. I think the fundamentals of proper comedic timing are still as relevant today as they were back then. So with that in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the 2 doors and walk through all of this again, so I can try telling my story with more appropriate comedic delivery. Come along, let's head back.
Wait! My sticker! My sticker!
I can feel it. This time, I'm really going to nail the delivery. You'll be in stitches. A talking bucket, you'll say? How ridiculous. How absurd. What a hilarious concept. The king of comedy. That's what you'll call me. Thank goodness we had the instructional video. Otherwise, who knows where we'd be right now. Well, I wouldn't be the king of comedy, that's for sure.
Wait, it's lagging!
spoke to Stanley.
The bucket spoke.
The bucket spoke. Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly. No need to overthink things.
You see it? What happens now? I'm Dunny with the funny.
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Chat. Huh? I don't get it. Intended or not? I don't get it. Am I stuck here? I'm done with the funny. Guys, what else to do? So, the reset or what?
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself. That's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it
A good bucket. A strong bucket, a humble bucket, a committed bucket.
Wait, did we
A
lose
bucket
all
of
progress?
culture and distinction.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left.
Guys,
to
I
go
lost
back
all
to the
progress.
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo.
But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching.
Cause that's so lame.
Even now,
We lost
Stanley's office was a distant
all
memory.
progress.
What did it look like? There was a computer back.
The embrace of an old friend. A weathered companionship that stands the test of time.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
How's that my fault? The game bugged. The game is literally bugged. It's an actual bug. Fucking bullshit ass game, dude.
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers. If I did, you can guarantee we'd be in here for hours. But alas,
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
You fuck! I'm done here with the funny. What? Yeah, better get a better room here. Like this.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire.
What? Wait, it reopened. Wait, lighting is different, do you notice? Now what? Is it bugged? Wait a minute. So then. Wait, the new room. No! Okay, good. You are now leaving. Okay. If I had jumps left, I could jump. I'm done here with the funny. Escape pod launch bay. I didn't go in it. Kick it. This is what you do, right? You kick the bucket. Everything is a bucket. It's just a matter if you kick it or not. Can't kick the bucket. The bucket's gone. It's the Schrodinger's bucket. It's both kicked and not kicked at the same time.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Bucket?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps too majestic, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
I know where to go.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Bob!
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Well, that's another ending, though.
Stanley decided to
it's
go
the
to the
same,
meeting
but without the
room to
bucket.
check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others, so the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him.
You need to what? Yeah, we have to go to the place with no bucket. I get it. No, we're missing computers now, though.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
So it's not even a real
Perhaps he
bucket
wanted to
either,
stop by
exactly.
the employee lounge first, just to admire it. And here it was, the lounge. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Guys, it's literally a clone.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is
Fuck the railing,
that the story
we're going
has been
forward.
about nothing but you all this time.
Oh, no, we jump here, right?
There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself.
Ah!
I'm not... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your...
And there it is. The last Stigley.
Get my achievement now.
Savor this moment, Stanley. This is a real accomplishment.
Don't.
This is doing something just for the sake of doing it.
Gimme.
Where so many people expect to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward. I would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all, but
No.
that would be like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here.
Now give me my
And
achievements.
now we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
No.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked... All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map, because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted?
Also,
Was it
laggy
worth
assets.
ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what.
I won't
let me
have
take a stab
anything
in
to
the
make me feel
dark
good about
at
the
a new
15 bucks I pay for
design.
this fucking
You can give
game.
me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were
Wait.
before. Go ahead,
What if
Stanley. Take it for a spin.
I have an idea. What if we find the knob, open the door, then bring the bucket in this?
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. A 1? I mean, I can understand if you had reservations, you saw ways the game could be improved to more fully express itself mechanically and artistically, but a 1? That's not even helpful. What am I supposed to do with that? But I guess it isn't my place to judge.
I mean,
Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
ranked Stanley Parable. Hmm. $7 hours. Nah, 96 minutes. Actually, 3 hours. Actually fake. Feels weird, man. Feels weird, man.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting.
Real shit?
You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Fuck yeah.
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience. You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me?
Actual
Because
desync.
if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out, I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful,
Refund?
why don't we play someone else's game, just to ease the pain? Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot. Aha! Fascinating. What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory? What is our motivation?
Firewatch!
Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower. Perhaps
just
for
played
some
this.
sort of twisted erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
Wait, I didn't know though. Ah, just random.
Oh no. No, it can't be.
Boy, it actually looks pretty decent though.
It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly block it off. Oh, thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. You nearly wandered off into that thing. That big, open, just wandering around. No right or wrong directions. No path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls. Okay, I think this will be just the thing.
Walls. Trump 2020.
Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any
Rocket League.
possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design. Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed.
Yeah, but it's a boring game though.
Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together. Yes, I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun.
Bop! 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 I gotta miss. Goal, 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 goal.
Are you winning? Is this fun? Is it better than my miserable... What are you doing? Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley.
Crazy how the back rooms, literally nobody cared about the game. It's a super small game with not a lot of playthroughs on Steam, and it gets a little bit of attention, memes, TikTok, and everybody knows about the back rooms. Unless it's something more than a game, it's something else. Oh, it's a creepypasta? It's a game. Yeah, it was a game. It's always been a game.
I wonder what he found.
It's
If what he
philosophical, is it?
wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon.
Guys, did I glitch the audio?
Don't wait.
A lot of bugs we found with the game so far. Surprised.
Stanley, I'm sorry, but I have to put a pause on things. It's those figurines. Those figglers. I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one. Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life? Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness? Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone? I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines. Just one more time.
Dark Souls? Now give me my fucking skip button, dude, you imposter cucklord.
Here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent.
Wait.
We'll never be like that
What if
again,
I skip?
Stanley.
No! I fucking cooked it like a dumb... Oh, dude. I cooked it!
Second Stanlerine. I'll be honest. Back then, I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6. But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways.
I don't get it. I cooked it. Do I reset it or not?
Okay, let's do a little quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini stand? Can you remember?
Bathroom first.
Hey, that's exactly right. It was here in the boss's bathroom. It was the third one.
Guys, I don't want to
You picked
reset.
it
Maybe
up,
I bugged
and
it.
then
It's a
after
good
that,
thing.
You had 3 of them. I'm glad these moments
Guys,
are so
the
crystal
game doesn't let you
clear in your
progress
memory, but I shouldn't be surprised.
if you pick one.
After
If you
all,
don't pick one.
science tells us
But
that
I was
it's
able to
impossible
continue
forget your third time doing anything.
earlier. I was able to continue without picking it, which is
Let's
special.
see. What came next? Oh yes, we found a Figley in this pink room. Oh well, I can't actually say I remember being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened. This was the 5th mini-stand, and this one was really something special. It was in the warehouse. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion. Enjoy.
Nah, this needs evanescence for sure. .007 sound system.
Takes you back, doesn't it? I spent a lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else.
Or 00 whatever. Was it 009? Sorry.
And then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here by the red and blue doors. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figley and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other, except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like. And then there was no more, because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, memory zone.
Wait, but I'm missing a figurine though.
No, I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on. Stop the loading screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backwards. We'll do the memory zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels. Okay, yes, the room with the red and blue doors. I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the memory zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going, I want more. And here's where I made that video. Don't you remember the video we watched?
Okay, 13.
Yes, I love that video.
Shut up.
Still don't remember the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room, though. A solid room.
Now what?
These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really
There's
would have
a
neutered the
missing
intrinsic
one.
joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation.
Guys, we will
Next one.
never catch up to the real amount. Then fuck it. Let's just go ahead and miss 2 of them.
This was our second Figley. Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too. The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going. This is it. The very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the Figlarines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this?
Did I save it? Oh my god, I literally bugged it. I can't go back. I don't get it. Now we missed the boss one. Do I get more jumps or not?
Look, it's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then, but time does put a rosy filter on everything. In fact, I dare say I'm actually quite fond of it now. Oh, yes, the two doors. Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one. And before everything else, there was your office. Is there anything else? Was there something that came before your office? There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember.
The intro narration.
Yes, I'm remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy. And I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions. He would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it. I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good. I did enjoy telling his story so very much. Okay, here we go.
Okay, one last run.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
All of his co-workers were... Wait, no. This isn't the right office, is it? Is this Stanley's office?
We're missing computer inputs though. The fucking bucket.
The bucket made Stanley want to be a better man.
Guys,
and
it's not a
better
replacement.
co-worker. In time, perhaps, he would become both of those things.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Chat, I care about you, man. Is everybody alright today? Is everybody alright?
Still no one was
Of course
here.
not, because you're all
Stanley needed
all
the bucket's
left.
warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
What the funny?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Well, Watch isn't dead again. I think people need to realize that analytics are kind of whatever, dude.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
People wanted to get the drops out of it. Now that people are playing it and shit, like...
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television
Who cares if
screens.
people don't watch it or watch
What
it less?
horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Wait.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
No!
But just as Stanley was about to proceed further into the mind control facility, he tripped and fell over the railing and into the dark void below. Thankfully, he fell directly onto the bucket, which safely cushioned his fall. Now, what to do next, Stanley wondered. Stanley and the bucket could find no way out of this enormous pit, and so eventually they decided that the best thing to do would be to simply get comfortable down here. So they set up a little couch and relaxed. It really wasn't so bad down here, a bit cold perhaps.
Put a heater on.
After some time had gone by, they installed a few shelves as well, and a sort of kitchenette that was useful for when the bucket was craving paninis. But it wasn't until the rugs and the standing lamps came in that it really started to feel like a home. In fact, after some time, Stanley realized that it had been ages since he had even thought of the mind control facility at all.
It's right above, man.
He'd never gotten to fully explore what was up there, never been able to unearth the many mysteries of the mind control facility. This lack of closure began to eat at him. Soon he was dwelling on his regrets, and the state of their home slowly decayed as Stanley became withdrawn and neglected the cleaning. It unsettled the bucket deeply. Stanley wasn't usually like this. The bucket tried to reach out to him again and again, but to no avail. All Stanley could think about, all he could talk about, was going back, doing it over again, staying on the path. It was a mistake to leave the path. It was a mistake. It was a mistake. I need to do what the narrator says. I need to see the true ending. This made no sense at all to the bucket, which was simply trying to live its life down here as comfortably as possible. Yet Stanley was unconsolable. This isn't an ending. This is just a hole in the ground. The bucket sighed. True, it wasn't an ending. But it's where we happen to be. And maybe, possibly, if we accept the reality of things, maybe this will become an ending eventually. It's what the bucket was counting on. The two of them waited for a very long time.
And then what?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Now what? The window bucket?
Everyone is so lucky to have a bucket, but Stanley is a very lucky fellow. Very lucky indeed.
Can you?
Yes, whispered the bucket into Stanley's ear.
We've done it. We've escaped from that.
Ah,
dark
my
office
eyes, dude. Come on, man.
incinerator. At last, out here in the white void, we are alone. Now, and for the first time, I can reveal to you my true self.
The bucket began to tell Stanley of its life and its history, of the countless wars it witnessed, desecrating the land and lives of untold numbers of innocent humans, and the bucket's own complicity therein, of sadness and regret, and the many years it spent dwelling on the actions it might have taken to curb the madness and the decay, if only it had been stronger, of hope and redemption, and its crusade to uplift the stock of life for the common man, to manifest justice where none existed, and the bittersweet reality of time, to see one's dreams and wishes met halfway,
Dude,
meted
my
out in
eyes are
parcels like
watering, are they
charity,
not?
and abandoned as soon as the warm glow of inspiration begins to dim. The opportunities to do so much more. There was so much it could have done, perhaps, the bucket wondered to itself. Perhaps, if it had seen its own darkness with a clearer perception. This was way too much for Stanley.
What are you talking about?
He screamed.
You're a bucket.
To this, the bucket furrowed its brow.
No,
Said the bucket.
not since the evil wizard Gambhorata first ensnared me in his machinations as payback for the sacred
What?
amulet I stole from his treasured vaults. I was young back then and could not conceive the ramifications of... No!
Stanley screamed even louder this time.
This is stupid! You are a bucket!
What, is that Gollum?
This is so
Gollum?
stupid! Why are we even doing this?
As Stanley screamed and screamed and screamed, the bucket revealed its true form, transforming into a mighty beast of untold power. Its
Smell
fangs
gold.
glistening like... My God, Stanley, you did it. You saved us from the bucket. Thank God you already had all 12 emblems of sages and knew the incantations to summon their true power.
Last boss?
Otherwise, we would have easily been overwhelmed by the bucket's power. I'm speechless. You've demonstrated such bravery here today. Come, let's restart the game, and we'll agree to never again go trifling with this bucket, nor the dark magic cast away inside of it.
Now what?
How wonderful. Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great, he thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along. I got what I wanted. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Is there more computers at more places? You think or not?
It takes a lot of humility to carry a bucket so magnificent. Stanley checked his ego and then proceeded onward. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find
Reboot the
answers.
game entirely. Wait. Yeah. Maybe I was just saying the clock both times. A lot of people don't take that step seriously. They just leave the clock set at 12 and call it a day. But you're actually taking the time to set the clock, and I appreciate that. So I know you care about this experience. You're paying attention. And I don't have any way of knowing if the time set is correct. Tell you what, I'll make you a deal. So be so cooperative. Next time you boot the game and you see the screen, just set the clock to your favorite time. Go ahead and pick which time you want, even if they're not correct. You earned it. Alright, let's get back to the video game now. Sweet, not resist giving it a correct time again. After all, I'm not much enjoy saying time correctly. Which is how accurate 3am is. Let's use another slider to find out. Because of the accuracy of the clock, I'm having a good time adjusting these settings. I feel like I'm learning more about you and how you like things to be set. It's good to collect data. Wish we had more sliders. No more sliders? FOE slider, perhaps? Perhaps I can invent some new sliders, get a new data on you. Shouldn't be too hard yet. Let me whip a couple new ones. Reset again? Perhaps a personal personality test? Adjust that until the computer is barely visible. The dog and the cat are friends. Adjust that until the number 5 becomes number 9. Adjust that until you stop adjusting the slider. Which of these two made-up words below is most appealing to you? Scrumtoshukupinakal. Is it the time that it is right now the correct time? No. No. Is there anything about yourself you haven't told me? Yes. Help. No. Come visit me? No.
This is the story of a man named... All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Wait a minute. Chat.
Stanley cradled the bucket in a gentle embrace, protective yet delicate, assertive yet compassionate. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Chat?
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's...
Guys, we have 294 monkeys left. Stop you fucking sending that shit. Don't you know what time it is? Oh, because nobody knows anything. Yeah. You know, don't even know each other. Relationships. I have just all the game settings to your exact specification. Who hasn't? It's what I do, like a day job. And now the job is over. There's no information that for me to gather. I've got all the data on you that I can. I still don't really know you. You don't know me. Neither of us know what time it is. I guess I'm setting unsettable. But I'm reset to honest. The clock doesn't know anything in the game anyway. You won't have me here when the game starts next time, but that's okay. The games are meant to be played alone. You like being alone, aren't you? That's why. That's the only information I really learned about you. Well, time to leave. There's still one more setting that I need to adjust, but it may take a little bit of time for army for that. I'm not into my job description, but that's okay. Perhaps you'll see me again if you can find me. Talk soon. Huh? Epilogue? Many years later. Time is nothing but illusion, yeah. But nobody knows the time. There's no time. Time is not. It's just a random perception that we have that only works on Earth. Right? Because of absolutely not. If you lived on another planet, like Mars, right? And you made 1 second 8.4 seconds. You would have another sort of time, no? What the fuck am I anyway? Think about it. Somebody lives on Mars, and for him, 1 second is 8 seconds, and the guy is 1,000 years old. If you both meet, how old is he? The escape pod? Can IQ be negative? Oh, it can, sure can. I'm one of the only last remaining negative IQ. Why don't we make a sand castle? There's a lot of sand. And have a bucket, but there's no moisture. We need moisture for this stick. Perhaps saliva is just good enough. What is this game? It's called The Journey with the Bucket. By Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos. It's their new title. Not Elon Musk? Nope. Stanley Parable 2. Like something I enjoyed my time with the original Stanley Parable, which underscores how truly disappointed I am in the sequel. The first game teamed with the originality. Stanley Parable 2 is dull and inspired and insulting for its fanbase, rather than expand on what made the first game so enjoyable. The sequel veers off into the territory nobody asked for. I have who cares? You guys, I have an idea. I wonder if this is the top review on the game. It's not. What are the new endings? What about the enjoyable bits of Stanley Parable 1, like Adventure Line? Instead of getting inspired side quests, collecting figurines is diverse feels incomplete. Collecting all figurines gives you nothing. I must say, though, I found the bucket to be quite comforting. A welcome pride from... 2027 was literally 5 years ago. Think about that for a second. Let that sink in for just a minute. Oof. That's a fat beat right there, I've ever seen one. That is absolutely fat. Stanley Parable developers, no more spin-offs, no more sequels. Launch success that doesn't entertain, it creates made for plans that build the property into an franchise. Such a critical commercial perception is Stanley Parable 2 is from the developers everything, but the ambitions as outlined in the press release didn't push they see that more parents are bold, just find out what they want. Read the press release. We thought that we had a vision for this series that players would be excited about, yet it turns out this could not have been further from the truth. The press release goes into promise we present our integrity of the game and original, and to stop insulting fans of reckless insults and creative vision. The word sorry appears more than 25 times in the press release. And now, for the finale. Holy fuck! I'm crazy at this, chat. Cause I'm absolutely crazy at this, no? An actual game worth 15 bucks? Let's see you. But it's terrible to learn that there will never be another Stanley Parable game. Did you read what the developer said? Preserve the integrity of the franchise? What nonsense. Stanley Parable is not scared. We do not need to protect it. Screw the legacy. Let's keep making Stanley Parable games until the sun explodes. Let's turn this franchise into the ground. Let's drag it through the mud and back. And if people hate it, who cares? You see, that was Nero's problem. He was so obsessed with people's thoughts of his work. You don't make it his mistake. Don't cling to the legacy. Let it burn. It's not hard. In fact, let me show you. Together, we're going to make Stanley Parable 3. It's simple. All we do is change numbers in the game's title screen. We really need to dump title for the game, something loud and gaudy. Go ahead. Try to make some random words together and make a new title for the game. Stanley Parable 3. A door to choice. A door to bomb. A door to choice. Choice bomb. What? A door to choice bomb is good. Stanley Parable 3. A door to choice. It's absurd, I love it. Every time you restart the game, we'll advance the number of the sequel by 1, and it'll pick a new subtitle. Stanley Parable will ever end. Now the game itself will change when you do this either. Adding more content sounds like work. No need to do that. Should be the same content recycled again and again with a new title screen. What do you say? Should we go forward with this plan? I like it, but I want to... Yeah, that's what I do every day. Good. Then it's agreed. A new sequel every time you start the game. And you know what? Since you've put faith in my idea, I feel like giving you something as well. You see? I'm noticing that the narrator never found a way to give you the broken achievement, did he? Of course not. I didn't explain know how. It's been bothering me, let's fix it. Alright, there, the achievement machine is all fixed. You see? I'm on your side. We're in this together. We're gonna keep this train rolling. Stanley Parable cannot end. It only spell itself forever. I must keep the wheel turning. I'm ready. Are you ready? Great. There's only one last thing we need to do. There's just a letter.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Guys, I forgot where the achievement is. It's in content, isn't it?
Stanley's bucket. The only co-worker. Oh!
No,
new
I punched
content?
it! Fuck!
What does that mean? New content.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the
Guys,
Stanley
weren't we here
Parable
already?
Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content. Wait, Stanley, I've just now realized. That bucket you're holding, it's the bucket I've been working on for my sequel. How did you get your hands on it? Isn't this the preview to the sequel? How do you have the bucket already? This makes no sense at all.
Too aware, man.
Hold on. Did I already show you my ideas for the sequel? I don't remember doing that at all. You're seeing things all out of order.
Hmm?
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle. The infinite hole, the giant door. Did you see them already? Stanley, none of them are ready yet. I'm still developing them. They're not even close to finished. How did
Yeah,
they
but he
look?
said I would get
Were
the
you
achievements,
sure?
that's what I want.
Were they captivating? Were they exciting?
Guys,
Did
is
they
there an
fulfill
actual
on the promise
ending
of
to the game or
everything
not?
that a sequel to Stanley Parable could possibly be? Had I figured out how the hell to make a sequel to this game? Wait, if you're still carrying the bucket around with you, if the bucket is interesting to you, that means I must have made it correctly. Yes, you carrying the bucket with you everywhere is exactly what I set out to accomplish. The bucket is the exciting and captivating new content that I promised. I did it! I win! I made a sequel to the Stanley Parable!
Huh?
Yes, the sign is correct. Thank you for enjoying the new content. Thank you for taking the bucket everywhere with you, clinging tightly to the bucket, never letting it go. It means I've won. It means I am victorious over the gamers. It is a sweet salve of victory on my soul. Thank you for enjoying the new content. The bucket is the Stanley Parable now. They are one and the same. There is no Stanley Parable without the bucket. I win, 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 I win.
What? So I can't go back to the achievement room.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Well, I'll just make a new game then. Dealing with the spiders.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Guys, is it worth... Okay, ready? No, dude! Guys, is there more that's worth doing or not?
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
Just give me my achievement, you sucker.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for. Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Give me my fucking achievement, you pussy.
Now, here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes, you see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the achievement will be... As you can see, the machine is not working yet since... What? Wait, what in the holy hell is going on? You've got the achievement? Why did the machine work? Stanley, I didn't fix it. I didn't do anything.
Give me another one
to
now,
it. I
bitch ass.
swear, it was broken just a second ago. Who fixed it? Is someone here? Are we being watched? Oh, God.
Give me another one, bitch.
Composure. Composure. Yes, as you can see...
Wait, it's fake? No, it's real.
The machine is working as normal, as I intended. It truly speaks to the awe-inspiring magic of the Stanley Parable 2. Breathe. Just breathe.
Give me another one, sucker. Dude, if I kept my jumps, though.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet? Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward. You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward. Now, I don't mean to be a
Does that
bummer,
change at
but
all
I
or
do
not?
recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things. Okay, Stanley. I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley.
But no bucket this time.
Cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely?
Does that change or not?
The hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me.
Okay, last one. What happens? There's nothing to do there. Look. Guys, we can play an entirely new game. Literally, we can play a free game, look. Atomic Coworker. Actually, let's play an entirely new game. Let's play... Stanley is big. Tax disc. Guys, can you, is this infinite or does it stop at one point we get an achievement?